There is a $45 fix that makes a Nissan meaningfully quieter, and most owners have never heard of it. It targets the exact places Nissan left bare metal and never treated. Number 1 is where those $45 buy the biggest change, and it takes one afternoon. Number 16. Check your tire pressure before you spend a penny. Before any of this, the free step. Multiple Nissan owners chasing road noise complaints trace the whole problem back to overinflated tires. That is worth sitting with because it means some people have spent an afternoon and a stack of material solving something a gauge would have fixed in 2 minutes. An overinflated tire has a smaller, harder contact patch, and it transmits far more of the road surface straight up into the chassis. So check the placard in your driver's door jamb, check the pressures cold, and set them to what Nissan actually specifies, rather than what somebody at a fitting bay guessed. And it is worth knowing that a fitting bay will often overinflate deliberately, because a harder tire wears more slowly across the tread center, and nobody comes back to complain about noise they assume is normal. This costs nothing, and it takes less time than reading the rest of this list. It also tells you something useful either way. If the noise drops, you have found it. If it does not, you now know the problem is in the car rather than under it. Some tire brands are simply louder. Yours might be one. Number 15. Check which tires you are actually on. Still before spending anything. Because the second thing owners traced their road noise to was not pressure. It was the tire model itself. Rogue owners specifically called out Dunlop and Bridgestone as noisier options in this application. Owners running the Michelin Cross Climate 2 reported a notably quieter ride on the same car. Same vehicle, same roads. Different rubber, different cabin. Which reframes the whole project. Tire choice and tire pressure often matter as much as any interior treatment, and sometimes more. If your tires are near the end of their life anyway, the quietest upgrade available to you is the next set you buy rather than anything you stick to the inside of a door. So look at what is on the car now and note it. That decision comes around again in 20,000 miles whether you plan for it or not. That word on the packet is doing a lot of lying. Number 14. Understand that you are buying deadening, not soundproofing. This chapter exists so you do not feel let down later, because the words matter and most videos on this subject are loose with them. A cheap do-it-yourself kit achieves sound deadening and damping. It does not achieve true soundproofing. Those are different things with different physics behind them, and no amount of material bought for $45 turns one into the other. Deadening means stopping a panel from ringing. Soundproofing means stopping sound from passing through a barrier at all, which requires mass on a scale no adhesive sheet delivers. It also tells you why the cheap kits and the expensive ones are closer than the price suggests. They are both doing the same job with the same category of material. What you are paying extra for at the top end is consistency and thickness, not a different physical principle. Knowing which one you are buying sets the expectation properly. You are not building a recording booth. You are stopping large, flat pieces of your car from behaving like drum skins, and that turns out to be most of the problem anyway. Your noise has 3 sources. Most people treat only one. Number 13. Learn the 3 places cabin noise comes from. Cabin noise is not one thing, and treating it as one thing is why people buy the wrong material for the wrong panel. There are 3 distinct sources. Airborne noise, which is wind and exhaust reaching you through the air. Structure-borne noise, which is road vibration traveling through the chassis itself. And impact noise, which is the tire physically striking the road surface. Notice that only one of those 3 arrives through the air. The other 2 arrive through metal, which is why sealing gaps alone will never fix a car that drones, and why sticking damping sheets everywhere will never fix a whistle. This matters more on a Nissan than on some brands because the weak points are specific rather than general. Sentra owners point to the hollow spaces, the window cavities, and the boot voids as the places worth targeting. That is structure-borne and impact noise, not airborne, and it tells you which material to buy first. Work out which one is bothering you before you buy anything. A drone at steady motorway speed is structure-borne. A whistle that appears above a certain speed is airborne. Gravel that sounds like gunfire is impact. Wrong material on the wrong panel does nothing at all. Number 12. Learn the 3 things material can do. 3 problems and correspondingly 3 jobs a treatment can perform. Matching them up is the whole skill. Mass loading adds weight to block sound transmission. Damping reduces panel vibration and resonance. Absorption soaks up airborne sound using foam. So a butyl damping sheet stops the door skin ringing, and it does very little about wind noise. A layer of foam absorbs airborne sound, and it does very little about a resonating floor pan. Mass-loaded vinyl blocks low frequencies, and it does neither of the other 2 jobs particularly well. And it explains why doubling up on one material rarely does what people expect. A second layer of butyl on an already damped panel adds almost nothing because the panel has already stopped ringing. The next improvement has to come from a different job, not more of the same one. Which is why a proper treatment is layered rather than thick. One material doing its own job, then the next one doing its own, rather than a pile of the same thing hoping quantity substitutes for the right choice. If you found this interesting, feel free to check out my ebook in the description or scan the QR code on the right. And don't forget to subscribe. Now, back to number 11. Number 11. Buy a clip removal tool before you touch a panel. This is a few dollars, and it is the difference between a clean job and an expensive one. Nissan interior panels are held on with small plastic clips, and those clips are brittle. Pry at the wrong angle with a screwdriver and they snap, and now you have a rattling door card and a parts order on a car you were trying to make quieter. A proper clip removal tool spreads the load and pulls straight, which is what the clip was designed to survive. It is genuinely the cheapest item in this entire project, and the one most likely to be skipped, because a screwdriver is already in your hand and it looks like it will work. It does work, right up until it does not. Skip the next one and every sheet peels off by summer. Number 10. Never apply to metal that is cold or dirty. Independent guides flag this repeatedly, and it is the error that turns a good afternoon into a peeling mess 6 months later. Damping sheets bond by adhesive. That adhesive needs metal that is completely clean, completely dry, and at a reasonable temperature. Cold metal prevents proper adhesion. A sheet that looks stuck in a cold garage in February will start lifting at the corners by summer. So clean every surface with isopropyl alcohol before anything goes on it, and do the job somewhere warm rather than in an unheated garage on a winter afternoon. There is a related error worth knowing if your project ever goes forward of the bulkhead. Using regular spray adhesive under the bonnet does not work because the engine bay reaches temperatures ordinary adhesive was never formulated for. High-temperature adhesive exists for exactly that and costs very little more. This is not fussiness. A sheet that lifts is a sheet doing nothing, and you will not find out until you have put the carpet and the seats back. $40 buys 36 square feet. Here is what that covers. Number 9. Butyl damping sheets, and what they actually cost. Here is the core of the $45, and the prices are less frightening than the branded options suggest. Butyl rubber damping sheets from Kilmat or Neuco run around $40 for 36 square feet. That is the cheaper alternative to premium names like Dynamat using the same category of material. And you can go lower still. One creator documented buying a 10-sheet box of budget sound deadening material for around $20 and measured a real, if modest, drop. Ultra-low budget material still produces results, which is worth knowing before anyone talks you into the expensive box. For context on what that covers, 36 square feet is roughly both front doors with proper placement, or the front floor pan, or the boot floor and rear deck. One pack, one area. Which is why the order of this countdown is doing real work rather than just building suspense. 36 square feet is enough to do a meaningful amount of car. It is not enough to do all of it, which is exactly why the order you treat things in matters so much on this list. 2 more materials, and only one of them fights drone. Number 8. Foam and mass-loaded vinyl, and when you need them. 2 more materials, both optional, both doing a job the butyl cannot. Closed-cell foam sheets run around $25 for a 12-pack of 1-inch sheets, and they handle absorption. That is the airborne half of the problem, the road and wind noise that reaches you through the air rather than through metal. Mass-loaded vinyl runs about $30 a sheet and blocks low-frequency noise. That is the drone, the frequency that gets into your head on a long motorway run. Add a weather stripping kit at around $15 and you have the complete shopping list. Butyl, foam, vinyl, seals. Buy them in that order of priority because the first one does most of the work and each one after it is refining rather than transforming. Now the number that disappoints people who expected silence. Number 7. Know what a full treatment really delivers. Being honest about the outcome matters more here than anywhere else on this list because the number sounds small when you first hear it. Independent before and after decibel testing across multiple projects shows a full treatment typically reduces interior noise by 3 to 8 decibels depending on the vehicle. One creator's real-world motorway test showed roughly a 2 decibel drop from a single budget pass on the doors alone. 2 decibels. That is what a first pass on one area gets you, and if you were expecting the cabin to go silent, that number is going to feel like a disappointment. So do not expect silence. Expect a car that stops droning, and understand why that modest-sounding figure is worth an afternoon, which is exactly what the next chapter is about. 3 decibels sounds like nothing. It is half the noise. Number 6. Understand why 3 decibels is a huge change. This is the chapter that turns the previous number from disappointing into remarkable, and it comes down to how the scale works. Decibels are logarithmic. They do not add up the way ordinary numbers do. A 3 decibel reduction represents roughly a 50% drop in perceived loudness to the human ear. Read that again against the figures from number 7. A full treatment delivering 3 to 8 decibels is not a marginal improvement. At the low end, it is halving what you hear. At the high end, it is considerably more than that, which is why owners describe the result as transformative while the measurement looks modest. Your ear is not a measuring instrument, and the scale was built for physics rather than for how loud something feels. Even $200 of damping cannot fix this. Number 5. Seal the gaps because damping will not do it. This is repeatedly described as the cheapest, highest return single step in the whole project. And it is the one most people skip because it is not the interesting part. Inspect all the door, window, and boot weather stripping for cracks or compression. Then run your hand around the seals at motorway speed, or have somebody else drive while you do it, and add foam tape anywhere you can feel air moving. Here is why this earns its place so high. Sealing gaps can eliminate wind noise that even $200 worth of damping material cannot fix on its own. That is not a small claim. It means you can spend 4 times the budget of this entire video on the wrong problem and still hear the whistle. This is also the step where you find problems you did not know you had. A seal that has gone hard, a section that is pulled away from the frame, a boot lid that never quite compressed evenly. None of those announce themselves until somebody goes looking. Airborne noise comes through gaps. No amount of stiffening a panel closes a gap. Different problem, different fix, and this one costs almost nothing. Lift the felt in your boot. There is nothing under it. Number 4. The boot, and what is underneath the felt. A 2016 Altima owner documented this in detail, and it is the moment a lot of Nissan owners realize what they are dealing with. Lift the felt carpet padding in the boot, and there is bare, untreated metal underneath. The factory applies felt to the wheel wells and nothing else. No damping material anywhere. And a boot is not a neutral space. It is a resonance chamber, a large, sealed volume with thin metal walls sitting directly behind the passenger compartment. Every vibration that reaches it gets amplified and passed forward. So line the boot floor and the rear deck with damping material, and pay particular attention to the spare tire well, which is a major noise source in its own right. That owner identified this untreated metal as the direct cause of vibration and noise transmission into the cabin over rough surfaces, and he was right. One owner said a stone sounded like a bullet. Number 3. The rear wheel wells. This is the Nissan-specific one, and it is the complaint that turns up more than any other across the range. A 2017 Rogue owner described a small rock hitting the wheel well as sounding like a bullet. Car and Driver flagged rear seat road noise on earlier Rogue generations as a specific weak point, and Nissan itself improved the insulation in the 2021 redesign, which tells you the earlier cars had a real gap rather than an imagined one. The wheel arches sit directly behind the rear passengers. Tire roar, gravel spray, and road texture radiate through thin metal straight into the cabin, and the factory treatment there is felt rather than damping. A long-running Nissan forum thread recommends applying Dynamatic Stream or any equivalent butyl product to the inside of the rear fender wells specifically to address the ping, ping, ping of gravel and road debris that rogue owners report. Access is the reason so few people do it. The wheel well liners have to come out before you can reach the inside of the arch, which is a job nobody does by accident. That is precisely why it stays untreated on so many cars, and why the improvement surprises people so much. Owner reports consistently rank this as one of the most impactful areas to treat, second only to the one coming next. Bigger area, bigger gain, and you must remove the seats. Number 2. The floor. After the doors, this is the highest impact area in the car, and it is the one that takes the most work to reach. The job means pulling the seats, usually 4 bolts each, and lifting the carpet to expose the floor pan underneath. That is an afternoon on its own before any material goes down. Apply damping sheets to the exposed metal and pay particular attention to 2 areas specifically.
The section near the exhaust tunnel and the parts nearest the wheel wells. Those transmit the most structure-borne noise, which is the drone rather than the whistle. If you are going further, mass-loaded vinyl goes over the damping layer and closed-cell foam goes over that. Then the carpet and the seats come back. 3 layers, 3 jobs, in the order from number 12. This is the chapter that turns a noticeably quieter car into a genuinely different one. It is also the one most people put off, because it is the only step where you have to take the interior apart. And the biggest win of all sits behind a door card. Number 1. The doors. Doors are the highest impact area, and this is where the $45 earns its title. A door is a hollow metal shell with a thin barrier behind the card, and at speed, those flat panels behave exactly like drum skins. The job is straightforward. Remove the door panel, which is typically 4 to 6 plastic clips, plus a couple of screws behind the handle and the armrest. Use the clip tool from number 11. Clean the exposed inner metal thoroughly with isopropyl alcohol. Then apply butyl damping sheets covering roughly 60 to 80% of the metal. Not all of it. Full coverage is not necessary for effective damping, and the material you save goes towards the wheel wells at number 3 instead. Add a layer of closed-cell foam over the damping material, and you have both jobs covered. The butyl stops the panel resonating. The foam absorbs the airborne road and wind noise that gets past it. That is the whole hack. 2 front doors, 1 afternoon, 1 $40 pack of butyl, and a few dollars of tools, targeting the single area that owners and testing both identify as the biggest source of what you are hearing. Check your tire pressures first, seal your gaps second, and then spend the $45 here.